Sure, I know cigarettes can cause heart attack, stroke, cancer, but it's my life, right?
It may be.
If all drivers were alike, all Chevron stations would be alike. But you're not, so they're not. Some Chevron stations do it all for you. Others let you help yourself. Still others have split personalities, where you can have it either way when you want it. The nice thing is they all pump quality Chevron gasolines. So remember, there's more than one way to stretch out the miles along the Chevron way.
Steak and Ale welcomes you back to the old country inn.
Come sup with us at Steak and Ale, where hearty dining abounds.
This takes me back to the old days, a place to relax and enjoy a good hearty meal, like this Kensington Club.
The Kensington Club is a sirloin steak, marinated to taste. Lovingly grilled for just the right time, it even compares with our ribs in their prime.
Come join us. It'll be like old times.
Come sup with us at Steak and Ale.
If you know of a sick or handicapped child whose family cannot pay for medical help, call the Scottish Rite Temple, 873-3659. Action News is next on TV2 Atlanta.
Good evening, I'm Monica Kaufman.
And I'm Jim Wilkerson. Flash floods seem to be less threatening in the North Georgia mountains tonight.
There was heavy shelling in Beirut, killing 75 people last night.
And thousands of mourners view Pope Paul for the last time.
This is Action News with Monica Kaufman and Jim Wilkerson. Jim Biondi with sports and Johnny Beckman with the weather.
Well, here in Atlanta, it's one of those nights that from the inside looking out can make you feel like late October. It's just wet and drizzly, your typical rainy night in Georgia. Our Action News crew checked some of the local streams, and there are no problems that we could find anyway. Peachtree Creek is way below flood stage, and the same is true elsewhere in the metro area. One good thing about the rain, besides the fact that we certainly needed it, when it tapered off for a while this evening, it provided us with a very pretty picture of the city's skyline. And Johnny Beckman is here now to tell us, is this water going to stick around a while, or are we home free, or what?
I think we're doing rather well right now. The flash flood watch for North Georgia expired at 10 o'clock tonight, and on color action radar right now, we still have a little bit of activity lingering in the northern sections of the state, but it has become very widely scattered. The upper air disturbance and the frontal system across the state, which was responsible for triggering the heavy rainfall, seems to be weakening considerably. So it looks like we're out of danger at the present time. Could be some brief periods of heavy rain off and on through thunder showers from tonight through tomorrow afternoon, but it looks like the flash flood watch is over with, and goodbye and good riddance.
Well, a state park in North Georgia is still closed in the wake of a threatened dam break. Vacationers at the park west of Dawsonville were evacuated from their cabins, and the park was closed.
The cabins are a half-mile below. Officials say they were in no real danger of being washed away, but the dam at Amicalola Falls is on the state's high hazard list. Amicalola Falls tumbles nearly 800 feet before its waters touch the ground below. That's where the cottages are. Vacationers were ordered to evacuate them when waters of a 9.5-acre lake far above began rising. 6 inches of rain pushed the level up to 25 feet, a lot higher than usual. Its waters are held back by an earthen dam built about 40 years ago. It was inspected last November and said to be weak. That's why no chances were taken when the level of the lake began to rise. Early morning was the most crucial point, but the rain slacked off, and by midday the level had dropped at least 4 feet. That doesn't mean, though, that the danger is over.
And it looks like that we won't have any problems unless we get another 6 or more inches of rain.
What happens then?
Well, we could possibly lose the dam if we get that kind of rainfall.
The park has been closed all day. Just when it reopens is up to the weather. At Amicalola Falls, this is Terry Casey, Action News.
Well, Monica, there have been plenty of wet places all over the country today, one of which is certainly Graham, Texas. In fact, as you can see in just a minute, Graham is having plenty of problems. This is how Graham looked this morning as water from Salt Creek off the Brazos River raised about a foot an hour. The only bright spot in all of this mess was that residents did get ample warning, and most of the town's most valued possessions were moved to high water in time. Some people, though, weren't listening to radio and television, and they got hit pretty hard. But because the water was so slow moving, there were no fatalities and no injuries, just one big sloppy mess.
Well, the Gulf Coast of Mexico got sideswiped by Tropical Storm Bess this afternoon. The Central Coast area was hit by 50-mile-an-hour winds and heavy rains. We have no reports on damage or injuries. Hurricane forecasters are also watching two other tropical depressions in the Atlantic, but it's too early to tell just how they'll develop.
Legionnaire's disease has hit Atlanta and taken one life. That was confirmed today by the head of the Fulton County Health Department, Dr. William Elsey. Elsey says 5 cases in all struck in the same area of southwest Atlanta last month. It wasn't until very recently that researchers at the Center for Disease Control were able to determine that the respiratory illness was Legionnaire's disease. Health officials say there is no reason for anyone in southwest Atlanta to be worried. They don't expect any more cases of this disease to be discovered. Well, plans for a prison development in DeKalb County go over like a lead balloon. That's next as Action News continues.
Her world, sensual, dazzling. His world, dangerous, violent. Drawn by a mystery, their lives converge. Faye Dunaway, Tommy Lee Jones, Eyes of Laura Mars. A thrilling vision of romance and terror. Rated R.
Starts Friday at Phipps Penthouse, Perimeter Mall, North Lake and South Lake.
The new front-wheel drive Subaru FE Coupe gets 33 city, 50 highway miles to a gallon. 33 and 50. It's the most fabulous thing to happen to a 50 since the 50s.
This is our 50th anniversary. Believe me, I respect anybody who reaches 50 anything.
333, 50.
Hey, Subaru, that's terrific. But one year I hit 54 big ones.
Where's a good place to save gasoline? Back here. Exxon gasolines are specially blended for quick starts and fast warm-ups. Up here, after break-in, Uniflow motor oil from Exxon could deliver an average 16 extra miles from every tankful of gasoline. Down here, Exxon steel-belted radial tires can also save gasoline compared to non-radials. Where's a good place to save gasoline? Under here.
Thanks for coming by today.
DeKalb County and the state of Georgia are at odds. The question is whether or not the state should be allowed to build a new medium security prison in South DeKalb County. BEBE EMERMAN has more.
For years, the Moreland Constitution area of South DeKalb County has been running downhill, but there are hundreds of acres between Key and Constitution roads that county officials think would be perfect for heavy industrial development. The county has been working very hard to attract new industry here, but now they claim there's an $8 million fly in the ointment. This is an artist's drawing of a new medium security prison very much like the one the state intends to build on a 40-acre tract on Constitution Road. County officials, however, say the last thing South DeKalb needs is a prison.
It would cut off the access to the Seaboard Coastline Railroad. They would eliminate the possibility of us putting in a spur line, which would serve another 450 or possibly more acres of industrially zoned land that we so desperately need developed in South DeKalb at the present time.
The county has fought back by refusing to issue a building permit to the state, but officials admit it probably won't do any good. Corrections officials say as far as they're concerned, the new prison should improve the economic outlook for South DeKalb County. Construction on the new facility should begin by September 1st, and other than kicking and screaming a lot, there's not a thing the county can do about it. From South DeKalb County, BEBE EMERMAN, Action News.
About 130 warehouse workers are on strike at the National Cash Register warehouse in Peachtree City. They picketed the place today, and they've been working without a contract since June the 23rd. And the brunt of the problem with National Cash is cash. The workers say they aren't making enough of it. The Industrial Relations Manager, Billy Arnold, said that the strikers can be fired, but no decision has been made on that. A spokesman at National Headquarters in Dayton said the strike has not materially affected operations at the other NCR facilities.
Well, your delays got delayed for a while today, but alas, city inspectors showed up and Grant Street was closed from Memorial Drive to Decatur Street. It is, of course, a MARTA project that will have the street torn up for about 3 months. MARTA has to install sewer lines for the Grant Street station. It's in a good cause.